We can't live without food, air, or water. They call it the rule of threes. The air is questionable in some places, but in most parts of the world, it's stable. And then water, even though it can be contaminated, in most cases, it can be cleaned. I won't dismiss the fact that our air and water supply need improvement, but for the most part, these can be addressed locally, which keeps things more fair, at least relatively. But our food supply? Well, that's a different story altogether. Did you know that most of the packaged things that you buy at the grocery store is owned by one of 10 companies? That's not fair capitalism, that's an oligopoly. It's kind of like a monopoly, only instead of one company restricting fairness, it's those 10. These companies exist to make a profit. Nothing wrong with that, right? But did you know that they put profit over your health? And there is something wrong with that. You might already know that refined sugar is not the best food for you. A study out of a university in France found that rats actually prefer sugar over cocaine in 2007. Yet all these years later, those companies are still adding sugar to your food, which might be okay if you're buying something like a cookie, but not beef broth or salad dressing. And furthermore, they go through great lengths to hide, discredit, or lobby against studies or facts that might indicate that their product causes health issues. I know, right? Sounds like deja vu, because that's exactly what the tobacco industry did. Actually, they're still doing it in some parts of the world. You remember this story. There were studies that came out that said cigarettes were bad for you. The tobacco industry said, no, they're not. And that song and dance went on for about 50 years. Then in 1999, the US government, found evidence that not only did the tobacco industry know that cigarettes were bad for you, but that they were actually adding more and more chemicals to make them more addictive. If you're my age, the chance is really high that you've lost somebody because of a smoking-related illness. And here's an interesting little tidbit. Did you know that the tobacco companies also owned food companies? Talking large national brands. Now, in recent years, they have done their best to separate because the food companies don't want to be associated with the tobacco industry. But if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, well, did you know that the food industry adds sugar to your food to make it more addictive? And they also study the texture of food, and they also try to mask your feeling of fullness. They're not lying when they say that you can't eat just one. That's by design. So you might be saying, Jennifer, I can take care of myself. I don't need anyone to tell me what I can and can't eat. Well, that may be true, but you can only make an informed decision when you have all the facts. And right now, those facts are being kept from you. They have made it their business to make convenient and tasty food at a really low cost so that you can become addicted to their products. Well, what are we supposed to do? Change the laws? Hold people accountable? Write your congressman? Well, maybe if you feel moved to do so. But you can do something right now, today. You can vote with your dollar. Stop buying their products. Yeah, I know, easier said than done, right? You have to eat. But did you know you could make almost everything in your pantry by preserving it yourself? It's easy when you know how. Did you know that you can grow your own food without a farm? Actually, you don't even need a garden. You can grow more inside your house than you might think. Did you know that you can make nutrient-dense food super fast? With modern appliances, it's never been faster. It is possible to live a sustainable life without being a farmer. And it is possible to control your food without it taking up all your time. And it is possible to save money and not have to buy cheap food.